Hi, today's video is actually a story time about the time that I met my husband. Um, the only reason this is even interesting is just because of the set of things that kind of unfolded as it was going through. All right, so I'm trying to stay as calm as possible because of the fact that I feel my ticks coming on. So they're gonna be included in this video, unfortunately. Whoa. So it's gonna just bear with me. Sorry, bear with me the best you can, because it just gets a little longer than I wanted to when my ticks start to happen. So let me get comfortable. Oh. So once upon a time, little boys and girls. Sorry. Oh, basically, my grandmother's a real religious person. She's passed away, God bless and rest her soul. But she was the archdiocese. Sorry, she was she was the pioneer of our family. She went traveling from one country to another, and she basically brought everybody into this state. And we learned a lot of things from her, and she was the foundation of all of us. So, my grandmother, her name is Ma Senora, is a very strong woman, loving, strong woman, and can be very, very hard headed from time to time. So, that's my grandma wrapped up into the best way that I could describe her. So, she traveled on her own, sent money back to her country to support her child. So, fucking awesome woman. This is where I'm starting this story. So, my grandmother always, went to church religiously. This was every single weekend. Come Sunday, come Saturday, she was at church. She even went to church sometimes on the weekdays. I don't think there was ever a time that she wasn't in church. Anyways, skipping that, my grandmother wanted all of us to go to church, but for whatever reason, I can't remember why, but we missed going to church on Sunday. And Monday rolled around and it was a school day, but for whatever reason, my grandmother convinced my mother for me to miss school so I can attend church. Um, we're Catholic, so it's a Catholic church. If you look into it, you know what about. Anyways, so I I attended church with them on Monday on a school day. I literally skipped school to go to church, and it was just a day out with me, my mom, my grandmother, going to church. We were on a drive after church was done. My grandmother wanted to shop off at a store. She loves going to Publix. She was like, anything that was name brand, she kind of went for. So she loved McDonald's. She loved Publix. Like, these are her places, and she just always went there. So we went to a Publix that we'd never been before. And it was in Sky Lake. Sky Lake is a area inside of North Miami Beach, and it's like a little shopping plaza. We went there to do our shopping over at Publix. So I had never been there before. It's not our local shopping plaza because I lived in Opelika, so it was far off from where we've ever been before. And my grandmother apparently had been there before, so she knew the place. I don't know. She traveled a lot in bus. Anyways, so we went there, and she had a hankering for a watermelon, and the store had half, quarter sliced watermelon. She was like determined to get a whole watermelon. So, she went asking me, go ask the attendant to go get a watermelon. I asked the attendant who was there. It was a young gentleman. He looked like he probably just started working there not too long ago. And sure enough, he said, "Hey, I haven't been working here that long. I'm not too sure where the watermelons are at, actually. Let me go ahead and find my manager." So he was like, oh, I found my assistant manager. He's here. His name is Ray. And that was the very first time I met my husband. um, he was this handsome gentleman wearing a shirt and tie, just, looking very, very professional, and, had his sleeves rolled up and, of course, ready to work. And, I had asked him, hey, do you guys have any whole watermelons? I don't see anything on the floor. And he was like, we actually have a whole brand new batch that came in. It's in the back. And he encouraged me to come with him, which is kind of weird because generally store attendants don't take you to the back where employees only go. So he brought me to the back where the employees only are. And there was this huge, massive bin, and it was like this just large ass box, and it was filled with watermelons, whole watermelons. And I guess they were processing them and cutting them and getting them ready, but they weren't selling the whole watermelon outside. So he went ahead and he was like, oh, here are all of our watermelons. I was like, oh, that's awesome, thank you. And I went to reach in, and I was, I didn't know what the hell I was looking for. I was just gonna grab the first biggest one I could find. And he was like, no, no, no. He goes, let me help you. He insisted on helping me. He insisted on finding me just the right one. So for me, I was just like, wow, that's kind of impressive. Nobody's ever actually come up and tried to help me before. So honestly, nobody ever tried helping me out. Like, it's been rough with my life. So when I actually I think I was, how old was I there? I was 17 at the time. Yeah, I was 17 when I first met him. And oh my gosh, it was like something. I'm not going to say love at first sight, but there was something pulling me to him. So even after we went ahead, oh, sorry. So he gets the watermelon. He insists to walk me back to the shopping cart. He insists on putting the watermelon in the shopping cart. All this while I'm like trying to fight with him. No, 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 it's okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Don't worry about it. You already went through the trouble of getting it for me. I'll put it in the shopping cart. He was like, no, 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 no. I already got it this far. Let me go ahead and just put it in the shopping cart for you. It's not a problem. And just so polite, so well mannered, and not every person's like that. That has to do a lot with home training, just so you know. Anyways, so I went ahead and I was in front of my grandmother while he was doing this, while I was insisting on trying to get the watermelon and put it in the shopping cart. And my grandmother was paying attention to the whole thing. And when he left, she said, see, this is the kind of guy, and she poked at me. She was like, see, that's the kind of guy you need to find, and that's the kind of guy that you should marry. You should marry a guy like that, somebody who's well mannered. He's a good man. You should find somebody just like that. And I was like, I was kind of flabbergasted. My grandmother has never pointed out to any of my family members like an example of what an ideal husband would be or whatever. She's never said anything really nice about anybody, honestly speaking, that I can remember. My grandma was like, so, she was like fucking hard on you. She was frugal. She was like, she was just, ah. She never said anything positive about anybody. Like, not that I can recall. Anyways, unless she was kind of like playing each other against one another, because she used to do that with me and my siblings. She would talk really great about them and then really shitty about like yourself. Anyways, yeah. So it was mind blowing that my grandmother. Oh, sorry. Whoa. It was really interesting that my grandmother had wow. Sorry. It was really interesting that my grandmother had pointed out this guy and the way that his behavior was. This is the type of person that I should be marrying. I was like blown away. So it stuck with me what she had said. But at the very same time, I was stuck staring at him. I couldn't stop staring at him. And I couldn't stop just wanting to be close or just being able to keep him in my vision. I don't know. It was really weird. It was the first time that particularly ever really happened to me. Where, because generally it's like, oh, here, boy, whatever, and you brush it off, or oh, you're cute, whatever, you brush it off. But there was something about him that stuck with me, like a lot. And every time I moved to another aisle, he was like in a meeting with some other managers in the store, and he was just so happened to always be like just an inch away from my vision, just like inches away from me seeing him. And I would literally like turn around. I was like, boom, he's there. I go to another aisle and look around, boom, he's there again. So I was like, whoa. um and he was a manager for a particular department, which is a produce, and we were going to like the whole store, but I kept seeing him, so it was just really strange. um Anyways, I started getting bored, teenager, whatever. It was taking a lot longer, and I wanted to get some fresh air. To me, the store just felt like it was cluttered. So um I have anxieties. It was too many people around, so that happens to me. It's happened to me my whole life. But anyways, yeah, when I was there, I just wanted to kind of get outside, so I went outside. And Publix has glass sliding doors that open and close for motion. So when I went right outside the door, I had opened up. As soon as I walked out, I kind of stood right outside of the sliding glass door. And as I stood out, not even maybe 2 3 minutes had passed, a bird came flushing in right past my face, right through the door opening. And it was like a little finch or something. It was a small one. It just went shooting past me. And whoa, sorry, I'm feeling so much pressure in the back of my head. It hurts. Whoa, they because I'm trying to suppress my fucking ticks, and wow. Anyways, wow, I should just let them out because it's starting to hurt so bad for me suppressing. Wow. So, basically, I went around town. Wow, wow. Sorry, that's not part of my story. So I was surprised that this bird came rushing into the store, and I swear to God, to not even seconds after the bird flew in, and I was like looking in, and I was like trying to pinpoint it. He comes right outside the door at that very same moment. And I said, "Did you see that bird fly in the store?" And he didn't expect to hear that from me. He thought it was a pickup line. It was really fucking weird. And he said, so slick, yeah, I saw it. You want my number? And woo! Sorry, woo! Uh, woo! That's my man. Sorry, that's my man. Oh, jeez, that's my man. Sorry. Oh, that's my man. Sorry. Oh, that's my man is a tick of mine. When it comes down to my husband. Anyways, so he inserted himself very slick and gave me his phone number. I was like, what? Wait a minute. No, seriously about the bird, but I mean, yeah, I'll take your number. So, we were both kind of flirting with each other at that point. But yeah. He 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 didn't believe me about the fucking bird. And he calls me up, and that's how we ended up having. But the funny thing about it is that he didn't call me up. He gave me his number. I never gave him my number. So when he left, he didn't even get my name. Like, I think I said my name one time to him, It's like, hi, yeah, my name is, Jeanette. How you doing? And wow, and he went, wow, 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 and wow. Hold on one second, baby. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So yeah, basically, wow. Um, so the first time that I called him wasn't immediately. It wasn't like the next day. I called him about like 2 days later, and when I called him, here I am on the phone. Ring, 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 ring. Hello. And he says, "Hi, Jeanette." And I was blown away. I was like, this was before, like, I had any type of or because these were all like rotary phones, and there weren't cell phones at the time. Like they really were like rotary phones. I think maybe he did have like probably a box fucking cell phone or something like that at the time, or no, not even. It was just, yeah, no, he had a flip phone at the time. That's what it was. It was a flip phone, but I had a regular rotary phone at home. But even then, there was no caller ID. There was just like the number would pop up, but no name attached to it or anything. And even then, it would pop up like my father's name or something, because he was the one who had the phone bill at the time. So when I called him, I was super blown away that he even remembered my name. And he, I mean, didn't even give me a chance to say who it was or anything. Just, hey, Jeanette. Like, he knew. He knew it was me. He was like, I recognize it's not a phone number that I know, so I figured it had to be you. I was like, what if it wasn't? He was like, well, I didn't give anybody else my number, so it had to be you. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. Very, that's nice to know. But it was, wow, to me, it was very coincidental. Um, what my grandmother said felt like fucking kismet. I don't know what it was, but I remember our first date. I I'm just such a hard-headed person that I'm not willing to give into all that stuff, and I wasn't really believing into it, but it was just our story. And he took me out to just every place in one date. It was crazy. We went to dinner, we went to a movie, and then even after that, we went to like a gaming center where we just had a fucking blast. Um, and it was just glorious. It was such a fun time. I don't think I've ever had that much time spent with one person before to get to know them, especially on a first date. He kind of blew my mind with that, and when he asked me, hey, what do you want to eat? For me, expensive was going out. For me, non expensive was cooking and eating in, because my parents were home cooked meals every single day. We didn't go out. We never went, out to restaurants. We couldn't afford it. So, for us, it was home cooked meals every single day, home cooked meals. Like, if we had one day where there wasn't a home cooked meal, it might have been like on a Friday. And everybody knows from back in like the 80s and the 90s, all the way up to the 2000s, payday was like Friday. It wasn't like Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays. It wasn't early pay. Like, it literally was Friday. You get your paycheck on Friday, right before the weekend. So for my dad, like, to go out to dinner to have like an expensive meal was a fucking Happy Meal on Friday. That was an expensive ass meal to him. So for me, when he asked me, hey, where do you want to go to eat? He's expecting me to pull out, I want to go to Red Lobster, or take me to Finnegan's, or Flanagan's, or whatever the fuck it's called. But, he was expecting like some crazy restaurant, Chili's or someplace. And I was like, can we go to McDonald's? Can we go to Burger King? Can we fucking have Taco Bell? Because like, to me, that was an expensive fucking meal. That was like, you went and you paid somebody to prepare your food for you. That was like, holy shit. Wow, that was expensive. So for him, his first reaction to me saying that was, my God, you're a cheap date. I was like, are you always that fucking rude to people? Like, why would you say that shit to me? Like, the date started off really fucking rough. It wasn't like perfect, ideal. Wow. The way we met was pretty enchanting. What my grandmother said, the bird coming in, catching me just at the time that he was leaving from work, like all these things, that was pretty magical. But our first date wasn't like, he leaned in to help me with my seatbelt. I thought he was going in for a kiss, and I totally slapped him. Like, it was like that. It wasn't like I'm trying, to think that this guy is my ideal mate or anything. I'm just trying to feel him out. So yeah, that's kind of how my first date was with him. Um, and I don't know what it was, but apparently he liked that. So um, he asked me for a second date, and everything else is history from there. Um, there are a few other more really cool, interesting stories, but I'm going to cut it short for this story time. It's been 20 minutes running. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.